project, and this is the AppleCatcher project. So the first thing to do is to give it a name. So if we click in the project name, and AppleCatcher, the next thing to do is decide where you want to save it. Unity will keep this as your default, and it will make a new folder for each game you create. If you want to change it, you can just click on this little ellipsis here, and then you can select your options. Important thing to do when you set up a new project is decide, are you working in 3D or 2D. Now this one is a 2D game, so I'm going to select that. Okay, so we've got the name, whether it's 2D or 3D, its location, and then we'll leave this on, and then we'll create the project. Now it takes a little while to get going, so I'm just going to pause the recording for a moment. Okay, here we've got the screen, it's loaded up. It's laid out the way I like to use it. Let's get to the inspector there. When you load up Unity, it might look completely different. It might look like this. Now, of course, you can create your own layout and save it as you wish, but I found that most of the tutorials that I found on the internet have got a different layout, which I tend to favour. So if you want to change it, this last button here is the layout. I start with a 2x3 layout. Okay, it's not quite the way I want it. I'd like to have more room for the inspector, and I don't need as much room for the project and the hierarchy windows. So I'm going to take the project and relocate it. So to do that, just click the handle and drag it down, and it becomes detached, and then you can bring it down, and we're going to detach it to the bottom of the hierarchy window. I don't need to be that wide, so I'm going to close this up a bit, and it gives me more room for the inspector. That's a bit too much. And now in the project window I've got it laid out as 2 columns. You do have the option of making it 1 column. You've got this little menu button here, and you can choose a 1 column layout. I'll stay with the 2 column as it is. Now this shows folders here where you keep all the assets. That's all the bits and pieces you're going to use in the game, and this window here will show you what the folders contain. Now we're going to go ahead and create a folder to keep the scenes in. Right, so here in the project window there's a create button. Click that, and the very first item there is folder. Right, so I've created a folder inside the assets folder, and I'm going to call this _scenes. It's a fairly standard makeup here. Now the underscore there is not essential, it's just there so it's always the first item on the list. Okay, so there we are. Now I don't really want a big icon like this in such a small space, so I'm going to use this slider to reduce it to just a small icon and the name. Okay, so there we can see the scenes folder in there. Right, we'll need some other folders, but before we do that, I'm going to import some assets that I've created and packaged. So up here in the assets, you'll find an import package, and on the sub menu it's a custom package. It's one I've made. Right, so here we've got the AppleCatch Unity package, which I've put inside the Unity projects. Let's open that. And it's got some pictures, and it's got some sound. That's it, and it's in folders. So they're all ticked. I'm going to import the lot, and that should go into the assets folder. Okay, so here we've got actors. Those are the pictures. They're the objects we're going to be dealing with, and I've got a little tune to provide some annoying background music. Okay, we want a couple more folders. Right, so I'm just going to create folder, and this one's going to be called prefabs. Now, a prefab in Unity speak is just anything that can be reutilized. So when we create something and we want more of them, we turn it into a prefab, and then we can use as many of them as we like. Right. The next thing, unfortunately, we're going to have to do some scripting, so we'll need a folder for the scripts. So another folder, and we're going to call this scripts. Okay, so that's a basic set of folders that'll do for the moment. We'll be adding some more as we go on. The last thing I want to do is to save this scene. You know, you can either save the scene from up here, save scene, or we can just simply right click on the scene we've got, choose save scene. I prefer to do that. Now you can see the folders we've created inside the AppleCatch1 folder. So I'm going to put it inside the scenes folder. I'm going to save it as main. Okay, we've created our layout. Next thing to do is actually start creating the game. That's the next project.